Welcome into another edition of Gas. I am Gresh. He is Jason Anik.
You were playing everybody and we're winning the game last night.
The head coach is fighting people on the sideline.
What do you got for me?
I know you're a part of Tight Pants Society.
No fucking play is that a gimme, right?
Oh, baby, we have now crossed into year 2 of Gas, the Gresh and Jason Show morning drive. We got you, a little afternoon drive today. I guess we sort of slid into the lunch hour today because of my goofy schedule. But, boy, we got a lot to unpack with the Patriots, a lot of NFL to get through. There's some fight game stuff to touch on as well. Jason Anik, we are loaded with topics today.
Well, before we get to the topics, I said to you in pre-show, I don't think you look 50. And then you said you're 51, but you look pretty youthful, Gresh. When your hair is short, you look like a little boyish, if you will. So looking pretty fresh today, Gresh. I don't know what it is. Did you sleep a lot last night or something?
No. And in fact, if anything, I was up at like 7 a.m. dealing with all kinds of whatnot today. But you're very kind to say that. It's always the beard that gives it away. I was at BJ's yesterday doing the Thanksgiving shop, and we're in line, and some guy just, he's like, I thought it was you, and just yells over. He's like, what's up with Campbell? And I'm like, oh boy, you can tell the Patriots are back in a big way, Jay, because that used to happen when Tom Brady was here. It sure as hell didn't happen last year with people being like, what's up with the team? Now you got guys yelling, 3 aisles over, wondering about what is up with Bill Campbell in the injury. That's when you know the Pats are back.
Yeah, when you're walking around Berkeley and Jensen and you get prompted by a former
Berkeley
Andy Gresh.
I love that. Yeah. Good look at you. You're a BJ shopper.
Oh, yeah. So ironically, I didn't start shopping at BJ's till I got to South Florida. That's the irony. But Gresh, it really is interesting because you've been talking about New England sports for years and doing national radio as well. But for the first week in a long time, I guess I have some negative stuff to say, not because I'm being negative, but I think the outlook maybe is a little more bleak as we sit here on Tuesday, November 25th, than it was November 18th. Bill Campbell getting banged up, among other things.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jay, that I think one of the things a part of this early part of the Patriots run here is that they've been pretty healthy. And I don't want to say we've taken it for granted, but that Cincinnati game, and I was even texting y'all during the game like, this is the one where like it would feel like in the Tom Brady run, there would be one game every year where like 4 guys would go down. And then you're patchworking it the rest of the way. And that's because of the position, admittedly, it is kind of the part that is scaring the hell out of me. But to just kind of circle back, I think one of the things that we maybe did end up taking for granted was that this group was healthy for a significant chunk of the season, which a lot of other teams have not been. Look at Baltimore. People are practically throwing a parade that they're 6-5 and leading the division again because they were kind of left for dead. But when you say Lamar's hurt, that's pretty big equalizer when it's all said and done. And we've seen Baltimore kind of claw their way back. So now it's our time to have to kind of patchwork things and sort of deal with injuries and coach around issues.
Well, yeah, Milton Williams going down the previous week and certainly looks like he'll be back. Jared Wilson and Will Campbell both going down in the same game. There was a clip last week. I think Steve Burton was doing the interview, and they were talking about these Thursday night offensive line dinners, and they were talking about Shirley Temples, and it was just those two dudes. I showed my wife the video because Will Campbell, who I could listen to him read anything, right? Listen to him talk for days, just talking about how everybody now has at least one Shirley Temple because it's just what we do. And then both guys go out, it was just unbelievable to see Will Campbell. There was a brief look on his face when he got injured, and then certainly under the towel. Both of them on the guys on the cart look like, perhaps season ending. Looks like apparently you're going to get both guys back. But We talked about the schedule being soft, and certainly you talk about these injuries. We know in the National Football League you're going to have injuries, right? 28-3 against the Atlanta Falcons. Gronk didn't play in that game, right? We know there are going to be guys that go down. Milton Williams and Will Campbell, those seem like pretty tough injuries. And I guess my takeaway would be, and I'm curious what your thoughts are, that wherever your peak is, however early or late you peak, to me, it's going to be very difficult to build momentum and maybe get back to maybe an early season peak, if you will, at the right time to be able to make a run.
Yeah, I think now it is the just get to the end of the regular season and try to get there in one piece. So that way, when you do get there, you've got the ability. Now, let me tell you why I'm pissed at Will Campbell. Okay. And this is a lineman thing. Jay, in 1993, our line coaches and our coaches all the way back then in college made us wear these giant knee braces that now in 2025 can literally be molded to fit your legs. So they're not the clunky, like I used to get my calves are pretty big. I used to get cramps in my calves from wearing the giant archaic knee braces of back in the day. Most teams in the NFL practice with knee braces. Why the fuck wasn't Will Campbell wearing one in a game? They can make them to where they literally fit you perfectly and they're a part of your uniform. So Jay, I'm going to have my TV people in the Vrabel press conference this week ask what his policy is on practice for linemen wearing knee braces, and might he adopt one for games? More for anything else, it's for the preservation of the athlete. Like if Will Campbell had a knee brace on, that thing doesn't bend weirdly and turn into a sprain. Instead, he's like a big tree that would go down. And that's the part that gets me. Nowadays in the NFL, this technology is so easy and comfortable to wear. If you're a lineman in this league, why would you not have those things on, given the propensity for people to get rolled up on?
Fascinating. I didn't expect you to take it down this road, and I'm glad you did. If Will Campbell was sitting here right now, do you think he would maybe counter talking about, oh, I feel so much more mobile and athletic without them, perhaps?
No, definitely. That's always usually the excuse that people go to. I don't like them. They're uncomfortable. I feel like it limits me. Hey, look, for me, again, I'm just an FCS level college lineman 30 some odd years ago. I loved them. It kept me from getting blowouts, quite honestly, because as a lineman, it's not so much you do get rolled up from behind, don't get me wrong, but it's more of those injuries where you get hit from the side. You're blocking someone and somebody pancakes somebody and they get into your legs, and the next thing you know, it's kind of twisted a little bit. So it doesn't save every injury, but on the way his knee bent in like that, it could have saved that one with just a simple knee brace on. But normally, Jay, to your point, that's what it is. It's a lot of coaches. It'll be it's up to the comfort level of the athlete. And again, right. Vrabel played in the NFL, so he would not be surprised by this question in any way, shape, or form. Because again, a lot of coaches in the league, they tell the linemen to wear the knee braces during practice to make sure they don't lose anybody.
I love that you had that take. And, certainly as young athletes, it makes all the sense in the world. It looks like part of the uniform for some of these college teams.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. A couple other notes on the Patriots, and I'm not trying to be negative here. It doesn't remind me of the 2021 team in a lot of ways, but in terms of the fraudulent number 1 seed, it sort of does, right? In 2021 with Mac Jones, Patriots were the 1 seed at 9-4. I just ultimately think with these sort of injuries now, believing in them to make a real run in the AFC even is very difficult. For me, like, show me the line on the NFC to win the Super Bowl, because it just really is starting to look like the elite conference, AFC sort of wide open. But a couple notes about the Patriots, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of the red zone scoring percentage in the offense, right? The offense was terrible in the red zone there. McDaniels, a lot of question marks there. 20th in the league at 54% roughly, right? The defense, worst in the red zone, almost 74% allowing opponents to score in the red zone. I thought it was a particularly bad game for Josh McDaniels. I think that Cincinnati defense is super vulnerable, especially on the edge. I thought they didn't exploit that at all. So very surprised. I think McDaniels has almost pitched a perfect game this season. I think he had a bad day. It's kind of a bad day overall, but you talk about contracts in sports, and do you pay a guy for what they've done or what they're going to do, right? Like what the Patriots have done, I believe in. I don't know how much I believe in what they're going to do in 2025. I think given the injuries, given how they've played the last few weeks, a little shakier, I think there's some real concern here.
Well, let's maybe take a half a step back for a second. We have been talking about, or I know that I brought up a couple different times, there's going to be a turd game, right? There's going to be one game. And even when Brady was here, right, Jay, there'd be the one game a year where they would just play like shit. Like go to Cleveland, get beat by Mangini, stuff like that, right? I don't think we've seen that this year, have we? I mean, if Cincinnati was a bottoming out, then Pittsburgh was a worse performance. And if that's the worst of the performances they're going to put up this year, then that's actually kind of amazing. So I'm feeling the road you're going down, that maybe a little of the momentum is gone. You catch Baltimore at the wrong time with them on a heater. Maybe that's the game where you completely crap yourself and you get smacked or something like that. But Jay, I'll say this. The bigger factor for me in New England, quote unquote, cranking it back up in the postseason is who's that wild card opponent? Because you know what it's setting up to be. It might be Chargers, Buffalo, Kansas City, and one of those teams rolling in. And to your point on maybe it may feel like they can't rebuild the momentum in a wild card round because maybe the guy on the other side is a three-time world champion in Pat Mahomes and that crew coming into Gillette Stadium, say on January 10th or 11th, and you can't get your momentum going again because you're going against a team whose hand is stamped. They know what they're doing. They know how to handle the situation. That's it. I think exactly. You and I might be vibing a little bit. If it's Buffalo, I feel okay. If it's Kansas City coming in, you're shitting your pants.
Well, at this point, it's a little too early for me to say, but I guess my overall point, which I think you're jiving with a little bit, is that I believe for this young Patriots team to really be a contender as I anointed them, even though I said they were a year away, then I anointed them a contender. Everything felt like it had to go perfectly. Even if everybody comes back perfectly healthy, to me, grabbing a guy off the injured reserve and bringing him back in, it's hard for me to think they're going to have the mojo necessary to make a run. That's just where I'm at today on November 25th.
Jay, here's another thing too, okay? Because I was talking about this with a former NFLer the other day on the radio. For these, like, even Denver counts in this as well. As much as Sean Payton has been there, New England, Denver, and Indianapolis, we don't know if they have it. Indianapolis was up 20-9 in Kansas City, had the trident in their hand, didn't drive it through the heart of the Chiefs, and they came back and won. And Jay, that's where I think this conversation is very, very relevant, because we've got a couple of teams who are at the top of the standings who have not been there and done that. Are they ready to grab the trident out of the hand of the proven winner and stick it through their heart and render, Kansas City was this close to being done for the dynasty, and they found a way to win that game because Indianapolis didn't have it. And again, a lot of it is opponent dependent, but you catch Kansas City in a wild card round or Baltimore in the divisional round. It's not going to be easy. Those are two teams who've kind of been there and done that. So maybe the number one seed kind of does matter for New England, given what we talked about, Jay, if for anything, just to skip a round that might be full of those teams who have been there and done that.
The AFC postseason really is going to be fascinating. You look at the NFC and you just feel as though there are a couple juggernauts at the top there with the Rams. I know the Eagles coming off a tough loss, but I ultimately do believe in them down the stretch. I really do. But with the Patriots, I think that for me, there's just too many question marks as we sit here with sort of your best linemen on both sides. You notice the difference of Milton Williams not out there,
you do. You notice the difference without Milton Williams. And I'll tell you this, Shay, I did this breakdown for TV. So Bill Campbell gets hurt with about 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, right? And I wanted to see how did they dress it up. And I'll give him credit. There were a couple of times where for 3 seconds, Vederian Lowe was pretty good in pass protection.
Yep.
Then there were times where he just got steamrolled, right? It's not consistent the way it is with Campbell. So what did they do? Ran a tight end over there, had a running back coming out of the backfield, and I think it was Henderson giving somebody the old 1952 flipper as he went by, all of that stuff. And this is now where we're really going to see the genius of Josh McDaniels, right? Jay, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that everything that he does in trying to patchwork the left side of the O-line is going to work, but I would say watch it a lot of the little things they do. Which side does the back line up? How does the tight end used in motion? Do you get Mac Hollins tight to the line of scrimmage so he can get in there and give somebody the flipper as he goes by to kind of help Vederian Lowe? This is where last year they would be completely sunk. This year, they at least have a guy, Jay, who is capable of coaching around this stuff. It may not all work, but I'll tell you, he went to the bag of tricks in the fourth quarter. A couple times he left Vederian Lowe alone. It was okay. There was one where he almost got the QB killed, and then after that, here comes the tight end, here comes the running back. They made sure to help the guy because people can talk about Bill Campbell and say, well, he's not this, he's not that. He has been the most consistent left tackle since Matt Light. And Matt Light has a fistful of rings on his hand. The kid's plenty good enough. He played great, and it will be noticed that he is not out there.
No question about it. You know, I think ultimately the focus almost shifts in my mind where I'm not really prioritizing the 1 seed at this point. I'm prioritizing them to have some juice. I'd almost rather them lose week 15, 16, Buffalo, Baltimore, but then take care of the Jets and the Dolphins and get healthier at the end of the year. And even if you're winning the division, you're certainly not the 1 seed, right? I wouldn't hate that. I feel as though sometimes chips have to fall certain ways to arrive at hoisting a trophy. And to just get to the Super Bowl for this young team, I think you've taken some blows right now that make it really tough.
Jay, you take the injuries out of it, right? We would probably still be sitting here saying this, considering they're on, a 9-game win streak now, and they'd be going into the bye, right? Remember every year we look at the schedule and we'd be like, where's the bye? You kind of hope it's in the middle of the year to take care of the players. And if it's early in the year, it doesn't mess up as many losing streaks as it does in the end. Well, now I think for some people, they completely look at the bye differently, where it was, wow, I don't want to ruin the streak. Now I'm I don't want to ruin the streak because they're going to beat the Giants, but it's the cranking it back up and now managing the injuries. I have if no one got hurt in Cincinnati, my perspective on the bye week would have been very different. Now it's a necessity for this team to have the bye when they do to try to be able to get these guys back. And let's just remember something real quick, okay? There was one point in time, now I know he's a borderline Hall of Fame player. There was one point in time where Logan Mankins played a season with a torn ACL. Linemen are weird. They're tough. And maybe, just maybe, Jay, as much as I'm hearing 6 weeks on Campbell and not back until the postseason, maybe, just maybe, he's got a little bit of that wacko gene like Mankins did. And is like, I'm going to get Logan was told, hey, you can't make it any worse. He's like, well, F it, I'll just go make the money. And I think the guy was like an all-pro with a torn ACL, which is just unheard of. But these linemen, they're weird like that. Wilson's got a high ankle sprain. That one you have to sit out. If it's a knee sprain, maybe badass Bill Campbell figures out in a couple of weeks, tape it up. I'm going to go play. That'd be badass. That'd be awesome if on the Bills night, here's Bill Campbell out there saying, yeah, I'm good enough to go. I'm NFL tough. Oh,
I guess, but for me, I would be shocked if you see him before the postseason for myriad reasons for the future of the guy. But you seem to have a lot more confidence in them to just take care of the Giants like it's an afterthought. I think it's going to be a really difficult football game. So I'm looking forward to getting to that. As we move into topic 2 in the NFL power rankings, gosh, man, if Matthew Stafford stays healthy, the Rams look like they are it. I saw something, or I think the broadcasters were talking about his back injury and how he looked, shredded coming into the meeting. And I think that he really does look as shifty as he ever has back there, Matt Stafford. And with those weapons, they're just deep everywhere. I said all along, I think they would have beaten the Eagles if that game wasn't in the snow. So I think the Rams team to beat.
How about this with Stafford? He's got 30 tuds and 2 picks. He's on a run of 25 touchdowns and no interceptions. That's the kind of heater that Stafford's been on, and it's led to a lot of winning. I do feel, though, the margin for the Rams is very thin. I know they have Nakua, but I feel like if they lose Adams, they might crumble a little bit because they don't have the run game to support, right? Their defense is good, but if a guy like Jared Verse goes down, it feels like that would lead to a big domino effect with the Rams. And Jay, right now, the way they are, I'm with you. They're Super Bowl worthy, but to me, they're just that team is always, because they go for the real high-end superstars. They have to make sure those guys stay upright. Any ding that upsets that intricate operation out there. So if they can get through it, I'm with you. And Stafford right now is going to be the MVP. I mean, unless Taylor does something crazy, Jackson Smith Jigba, I always screw that name up, JSN. He already set a Seahawks receiving record, and we're, 11 or 12 games into the year. So I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be Stafford, Taylor, and JSN, because JSN is going to get a lot of run here. And I do not rule out, he hasn't gotten hot yet. He still looks hurt. But if Baltimore keeps winning and Lamar starts playing well, I think there are a lot of people who would love to give it to Lamar Jackson. And right now, if you're looking for a sprinkle, Lamar is plus 10,000. So if you think he can get hot, get on a run, and steal this thing.
I hate to cut you off. He's plus 10,000 for a reason. There's way too much. Stafford maybe only needs to play a few more games. Jackson's numbers just aren't going to measure up given how many games he missed, in my opinion. But if you want to take a flyer, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the voters want to give it to someone like him.
Yeah.
Hey, when he came back, they started winning type thing, because there is an inherent bias against some, but Stafford might throw 50 touchdowns and under 10 interceptions. I mean, that's Brady like numbers from 2007 when you think about it.
So I like sometimes looking at things without giving you a warning, but like if I have to, without thinking much about it, you have to give me an NFC champion right now.
Oh, Philadelphia.
All right, so I'll go LA Rams and AFC. Well, AFC is tough as hell. Isn't it? It's hard to answer that in 5 seconds.
I'll
go Ravens. They're winning their division right now.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to say I'm going to go to my default pick at the beginning of the year. Right. Go the Ravens.
Right. And so there I would see, rather than, if you like the Ravens, get what's that Super Bowl out on the Baltimore Ravens right now? Because I do believe that's sort of the team, as they've gotten healthier, that I don't know how healthy Lamar Jackson is yet. Believe it or not. But they've won 5 straight. That team gets healthy. That's a team that I think can compete with the top teams in the NFC.
All right, let me I'm trying to pull up the futures here. Here we go. Conference winner. Right now, Rams are plus 200, Eagles are plus 350.
Yeah, Code, keep going. What's the Super Bowl lineup
in the AFC? The Raven. What? Hold on.
12-1. Decent number on the Ravens win the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. I was looking at conference winner. How about this, Jay? To your point, you said pick somebody out of the AFC. Under conference winner, here are the odds. At plus 500, Patriots, Chiefs, Colts, Broncos. Plus 550.
That says it all.
Plus 550, Bills, Ravens. Then the Jaguars are next at plus 1,800. So even the betting markets have 6 teams all within pretty close to each other. So, picking the AFC is tough. Honestly, Jay, I really believe the wild card order is really going to matter in terms of picking who you think. Yeah, it's and there's other teams lurking, like Pittsburgh's outside the structure right now, but if Aaron Rodgers comes back, that's at least a guy who, if he's got a little, oomph to him, it's somebody you at least have to deal with in a postseason.
I agree. And that defense is something. And I guess for me with the Patriots, I actually felt like because the AFC was so wide open that if they could have not had injuries to Will Campbell and Milton Williams, right? I felt like maybe you get through Buffalo, Baltimore, and you win one of those games and you win everything else and you are the 1 seed. And all you got to do is win one game at Gillette and you're hosting the AFC Championship. I felt like that was very attainable for this team to the point where, but to me, these injuries feel as though they won't be able to get there because I think the 1 seed will escape them now, and I believe that they will go up against a juggernaut as you described.
Yeah, I worry about Denver stealing the number 1 seed, but you know what? Even though there are injuries, Jay, I still feel really good that this team at worst is going to win 13 games, and they win one of those against Baltimore and Buffalo. I say they beat Buffalo. I'll tell you, Jay, that Thursday nighter against Houston. That I'm out on Buffalo. They might not make the playoffs. Their defense is not what it used to be. And that's why I'm not afraid of them anymore, because I know that the Patriots offense now, even with the dings, it's still good enough to be able to score on what is now, I think, a bad Buffalo defense. They're not the team they once were.
They weren't. And isn't it amazing that we're just like, oh, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, and we just check a box, you know what I mean? As if they are the elite of the elite. And the other side of the ball matters. You know, Kansas City Chiefs defense had a lot to do with their championships, some more than others. And you certainly know the Ravens defense, when healthy, can be legitimate. I'm with you. All year, we're like, who is this Buffalo team? Do we really know who they are? And I think maybe you might be willing to admit what your eyes are telling you, you know?
No question. Yeah, that Houston game, I mean, it's Davis Mills, for God's sakes. Like,
you were on Houston, though.
Yeah, I was. Nice quarterback and all, but still, like, come on, Buffalo. Like, that was an alarming, like, you knew going down, like, Josh Allen plays like ass in Buffalo. 0-4, some of the worst numbers of his career against any team are in Houston. Sorry.
That's okay.
In Houston, yeah. And so defensively, they know they needed one, and it just wasn't there for them. There's just too much weird stuff going on with Buffalo this year that makes me think they're going to be anything more than a divisional round team. We should all be really pissed off at Indianapolis. And you know what? Indianapolis showed you they are not championship ready. And Jay, earlier we talked about the whole been there, done that, right? Or I know they know how to climb their way out of the hole. That's what Kansas City did. Indianapolis could have done all of us in the AFC a big favor by beating KC. Jay, they would have been 5-6, and they would have only had like one win in the conference. Mathematically, Kansas City all but would have been eliminated. Now they have life, and they're the zombie crew that's going to come back and wreak havoc on everybody in the AFC, because they're like the Golden State Warriors. They'll get healthy at the right time, and then the team you didn't see all year is not the team you see in the postseason.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you anymore. I think there's some interesting games. I'm glad we're doing podium picks, because I do have some plays potentially on some of these games we've been discussing. I mean, not an easy game for Indianapolis with the Texans, that defense playing them this week, right? It's going to be some interesting games to discuss, and I don't know where your picks lie. But I know we're going to talk about these Thanksgiving games, but I'm very curious. Like, it is my favorite holiday, and I'm curious to hear about what your day is going to entail. But the football has taken over for me, Gresh, to such an extent where I've almost not liked how I've talked. My mom's hosting, a lot of people going to be there, 15, 20 people. And I'm almost like, I feel like a jerk saying this, but I'm almost like, Mom, I'm leaving at 4:15 so I can be home for 4:30 for the snap of that time, right? Like, what a jerk. So tell me a little bit about what your Thanksgiving Day entails to start with, please.
Well, we're obviously, as you know, we're a big football family. I played college. My brother played college football. My father-in-law played in the NFL and the CFL. So the football, like, there is no question, the football, even though no one is interested necessarily in who wins or loses, the football is on. So here's what will happen is at 8 a.m., I will drag my sorry ass up. I'll probably go to the garage and then shower up and get ready to go to my in-laws, where they're hosting. It's just a way to have it at their house because it's bigger than ours. And my brother, my sister-in-law, my 13-year-old nephew, my 10-year-old niece. Now, my 10-year-old niece, Jay, and I might have told, I can't remember if I've said it on here or elsewhere or whatever. My 10-year-old niece, Stella, she's a Gresh.
Oh, what a great name.
She's a Gresh. She told a girl on the bus, this was last year, she told this girl on the bus to shut up, and the girl didn't shut up, and she ultimately turned around and looked at this little girl and said, I thought I told you to shut the fuck up. And it's like the Christmas story. Like, where would she learn a word like that? Oh, she's heard her father say it 1,000 times easily, right? My brother's a cusser. And it's like, oh my God. So I sent her a little video. We call my mom Gigi. My parents can't travel this year. My dad's got to have some surgery in December. They'll be okay. So I sent a video to my niece saying, you need to make me Gigi level brownies, because my mom's brownies got crack in them. I don't know what it is, but she told my sister-in-law the secret so that my niece could learn how to make them for Uncle Arnie. When my nephew couldn't say my
Uncle
name.
Arnie?
Yeah.
Okay.
My nephew couldn't say my name for the longest time. So I've become Uncle Arnie.
I love it.
Because he used to, my nephew had a way of like speaking like Frank Costanza. So he was saying Uncle Arnie, but it sounded like Uncle Ernie. Uncle Ernie. And he's like, said it real. He's almost like Zoe in a way. Says it real hard and fast, right? So anyway, so they'll be arriving around noon. The turkey will be almost done. My other kid talked me into doing a sidecar ham, which is pretty easy. You throw it in the oven, leave it in there for an hour and a half. You don't worry about it. The mashed potato prep begins the night before. Now, Jay, I don't know how Mama Anik makes mashed potatoes or anything like that, or who gets that responsibility in your family. But what I do is I buy the russets and I poke holes in them and bake them for an hour. And then you take the guts, and then that's how you make the mash. You run it through the potato ricer and stuff like that with some garlic butter. Garlic. What you do is you just take a big pot on the stove at the beginning of the day. This is what I do. I throw 3 sticks of butter in like a thing, and I get some garlic and just smash the hell out of it. Dump the garlic in there, let it boil, turn it off. All that garlic steeps into the butter. It makes delicious garlic butter for your mashed potatoes. So if you have some people who can't like eat garlic hunks or something like that, it's a way to make garlic mashed potatoes without overwhelming people with garlic. So anyway, I'm on that. We'll do my kid is in charge of corn because you can't get any more ears of corn around here anymore. I know I'm long-winded on this. Like the ear, no, I mean, it's not like in season. Like I have a place
gotcha.
I have a place, Four Town Farms, that it's the best corn ever. But when they're done in October, I stop beating it off the
Four
cob.
Town Farms, that's it. We're out of corn. See you next year.
It really is true. That's exactly right. They do strawberries and corn. So anyway, so everybody comes over. I am the one responsible for feeding everyone.
Wow.
I cook. I'm there at 9 a.m. and I am doing the cooking for everybody. The fracking cooking. Good one, Cody.
So we'll talk about these games, the Thanksgiving games. But so for me, right?
Fill me in. What's it like at the Anik house? Because you have 2 brothers, a lot of family, a lot of people around, right? Like I got 9 max, maybe. And that includes 2 Goldens.
Yeah, we're rolling deep. I mean, John won't be down here, which is severely disappointing for me, because if we do our rankings, it's, John and then everybody else, if you want to know the truth. Hey, sorry, but anyway, so my mom cooks a lot. My younger brother who lives in Maine is coming down. My younger brother will cook. My younger sister will cook. My sister's husband will cook. But my wife works such a demanding job. Like my wife will be the one at Thanksgiving with her computer because she works in retail so she'll be working Friday. But my thing is, right, Gresh, I'm not responsible for bringing anything in terms of eating. I'm not responsible for paying for anything, but I am like the cleanup guy 100%, meaning like my mom knows like I might as well wear an apron and have like a bus tub because that's me. Like I'll I don't mind hustling. Like my younger brother will like cook and fall asleep and like won't even clear his own plate. But like I will like make my mom so happy dominating her house. So that'll be my contribution.
So let me ask you, has it always been that way? Is it part neuroses with you, or is it once you became a dad, you're walking behind with a freaking broom and, all that stuff and cleaning up after these people?
Yeah, all of the above. Like when I'm here with my girls are upstairs right now. Like they're off this week. My wife's working, so like I don't want to be cooking Wednesday, but we're all going to be there. I don't mind hustling. But my thing is like I'll go there, I'll clean up, and then I'll be like, Mom, can I go home and watch the game? You know what I mean? Like then it becomes that, like, because these games, as we shift to these games, right? Like games are so good, right? Like I just want to be sitting down for Chiefs Cowboys at 4:30 undistracted. But first game, Packers Lions, like so much at stake in all these games,
Yeah, with the Lions, they beat the Giants. They won in overtime. The Packers have kind of leveled off a little bit. I'm sort of disappointed that the Packers haven't kicked in. They've more kind of leveled out. And these are two teams that I think, Jay, are kind of used to playing in this spot. There's not going to be anybody who's like, well, they don't know how to handle the Thursday. Everybody has to deal with it now. But I'll tell you, the Lions at home with the tradition, the fact that Dan Campbell, I think, can still drive his football team pretty hard this week in terms of riding them to clean up the mistakes. Some of the best wins for coaches like a Dan Campbell are the ones that you get where you don't play well. And I think the Lions can look at last week and say, we won the game, but we didn't play well. So a little more attention to detail, heightened awareness because it's a team you're familiar with. I like the Lions minus the points.
I agree. Sort of took the words out of my mouth. The little scare, not wanting to have a scare here, and I do think ultimately they can sort of outscore the Packers here. But with these division games and the Thursday stuff, I think you make a very good point. These teams are used to playing in this spot. But when I saw Milton Williams go down, right, like you see all these guys. I know the Patriots got banged up in the Cincinnati game after the mini bye, but sometimes it just feels like it's too soon to recover from a football game, moving into a Thursday. So that there's a wild card component to these Thursday games. But when I see that 2.5, it's certainly appealing at the outset. It's not one of my picks. Is this game one of your picks?
No, it is not. No, yeah. I stayed away from Detroit after this past week. And just real quick on what you said there, Jay, I have radio this afternoon, but I did radio yesterday, and I talked to Qadri Ismail, who played in the NFL.
Yeah,
Q is the best, but he's 55 years old, and Jay, he looks like an Olympian. It's crazy how good and I asked him, I said, hey, man, people know how to take care of themselves better. I said, there's all this modern technology. Do you think guys still feel it on the Thursday game? And he was like, yo, I train with a lot of these dudes. And he was like, Thursday is too early to get back out there. He's like, the football stinks. And he was like, guys that I train are in unbelievable shape. He was like, but you don't even start to feel like a human being again until Thursday.
Exactly. And you talk to some of these UFC fighters, right? And it's like, I understand that's different, but just the bumps and bruises that just from being on the mat with another guy, you know what I mean? Where the physicality in these sports, like the body does have to recover to be able to perform optimally and put yourself in position not to get injured. So that's a little bit of a wild card there. This second game, which is part of my podium pick, so I won't say too much here, but 4:30, Chiefs Cowboys, another game. The stakes for these teams. We have such a gift on Thanksgiving because every team is sort of in it and desperate or in the right mode, right? So Chiefs 6-5, Cowboys 5-1. I'll get into more detail about this game. I can't fucking wait for this one. Talk to me.
Yeah, I like Kansas City. I don't like the hook. I'd love it to be 3 instead of 3.5 there, but Dallas is one of those teams where, unfortunately, is their offense going to show up? Because to me, there is no way the Dallas Cowboys can win this game like 17-10. Their defense isn't good enough to hold it. If the Cowboys are going to win this game, it's going to be more 45-40 or something crazy like that. And, the total's at 52.5. That tells you there's going to be a lot of points. By comparison, that Lions game is 48.5. But yeah, to me, if anything, this game just screams over to me.
So I'll leave it there on that game. I'll get into that game in more detail moving forward. The night game, Joe Burrow's return, Bengals, Ravens. Believe the spread is 7. Yes, plus 285 coming back on the Bengals. You know, the Bengals defense looked more like a professional team than a college team last week. I'm not trying to give them a bunch of credit, but they certainly neutralized a hot Patriots team to some degree. Do you think they can do enough to keep it tight here against Baltimore?
No. And Burrow is the reason why, believe it or not, because he's going to, first time out, he's going to be tested. How much does he trust the foot? Does Cincinnati just say, well, hell, Joe's back. Let's run what we run. I know they're going to get chased, but maybe Higgins is a no-go.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts them in the spot they were last week. They had
Fair.
Higgins and Yoshivas, so it'd be Chase and Yoshivas, and I know Yoshivas got dinged up as well. But I just feel like there's too much to overcome for Cincinnati, and I think personally, Jay, they're going to be like, well, shit, Joe's back. We're fixed. And they're going to be like, nah, we're really not.
No,
Baltimore's kind of good, and they're hot, and Baltimore goes in there and wins decisively.
And similar, I agree with you. And similar to Detroit last week with the Baltimore Ravens played with their food a little bit with the Jets last week. So I think maybe you get a full effort there. So we're maybe on the same page in that game. And then the Friday game, what a gift at 3:00 in the afternoon, Bears, Eagles. I think it's a great bounce back spot for the Eagles here. Bears at 8-3. They feel a little bit like the Patriots to me, not maybe quite as good as the record.
Yeah, the Bears, there's 2 1-point wins in there against bad teams who have been firing coaches. There's like a 3-pointer mixed in there. If anything, you could look at it and say, hey, the Bears play close, so maybe getting 7, I could see the Bears losing this game by like 5 or 6 or something like that. But the Eagles should win this game. The problem is with the Eagles is it's hard to trust them right now because they're in their latest, kerfluffle from the locker room, whatever it is. If the coach isn't yelling at the D-line coach like last year or cussing people out in the stands, A.J. Brown's going to complain and whine. And you know what, Jay? There are some teams who operate better with the little bit of chaos, right? And maybe Philadelphia is just one of those teams because every time I want to say, oh, all the bullshit's going to catch up to them, they go win 5 in a row. They're the number 1 seed. They win in the divisional round. And the next thing you know, they're in a conference championship game. So maybe they're just one of those groups that thrives on that kind of stuff. And every time it flares up, it never seems to really bother them. So I don't know. I got to go Philadelphia. I mean, I think the Bears can't keep it close, but Philadelphia is pretty good. And if the Bears are going to, FAFO, they will find out.
Last week, my gold medal play for our podium picks was originally the Eagles minus 3.5. And then I wiped it off my slate completely because I really kind of flipped and I ended up liking Dallas in the game. And pretty ironic that Philly's up 21-0. And, and then obviously Dallas comes back. And I just think that game is a perfect microcosm for this league. And even me flip-flopping on my pick, there's just so much unknown here. And Philadelphia has been so barren on offense in certain stretches that it's not going to shock me if Ben Johnson's able to sort of help them score, the Bears score more than 20, and perhaps Philadelphia has a stagnant day, feels a little pressure. So I don't know, but I think it's a great spot for Philly first lean.
Just real quick though, at the very beginning of that discussion, or the discussion about that game, you mentioned about Baltimore and the record and it not feeling right. I'm completely with you on that. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're lucky, fortunate, whatever in the world it is. They did win those games.
Chicago, you mean?
Chicago. Yeah. If you really put them to the test in a big spot, they're not ready to be a primetime player. And you know what? That's okay. If they win 11, take a step forward and get beat in the playoffs, that's still a great learning experience for a team with a second-year quarterback.
Totally agree. Final thing before we move to our picks, like what time do you eat on Thanksgiving? Do you have appetizers? Do you have
No. There's no. There's no appetizers. If my wife wants to put out like some sort of crap, some sort of vegetable junk, then fine, whatever. I'm not touching that. I'm too busy cooking. No. listen, if in my world, let's say, if there's appetizers, there's Snickers bars, because we also have another tradition. My in-laws live right near a lake. So normally after dinner, we'll take all of the junk golf balls that we've acquired all year long and we hit them in the lake, right? So it's a lot of fun. And normally there's dessert right afterwards. Now, last year, hitting the balls got moved before dinner, which will probably happen again this year. We normally eat about 1 o'clock. So tea time will probably be noon.
Yes,
And
bro.
my brother and father-in-law will have their appetizers, but it will be in little candies, like the mini Snickers, the mini Milky Ways or whatever. My brother, like me, will wear the hooded sweatshirt and fill the front of his sweatshirt with a bunch of candy so that he can give some to my father-in-law, and him and my brother will literally be eating mini candies before dinner.
I love it. So I'm not a huge drinker of alcohol, but I certainly love drinking and being festive. I don't think I drink on Thanksgiving because I prioritize food. Do you ever mix alcohol in on Turkey Day?
No, I normally don't drink. If I do, it's with my wife in a controlled environment. Because like
is dangerous because he's
no, it ain't. No, yeah, well, that's exactly right. Like when we would have a company Christmas party, I'd make sure to never. People are always like, "I have a drink," and I'm like, "Nope, not having a drink." So I'll tell somebody to fuck all the way off, and that's the last thing I need, So no, I don't want to get snippy with anybody in the holidays. I don't touch. No. Jay, if anything in my back pocket will be what will look like gummy bears or whatever, but are 5 milligrammers that I can just have it in the plastic bag in my back pocket and pluck.
Keep those away from Stella.
Oh, of course. Oh, no. Uncle, no. Uncle Arnie's very good with stashing things everywhere so that he can find them.
We know. All right, let's move on to our podium picks.
Oh my God. You know what we got to get? You know what? After the podium picks, you know what I think we need to do? I know we were going to do like the food or what you would get rid of. I would request that we try to be a little positive and do the perfect plate, because I know, Jay, your perfect plate might be different than, say, your brothers or your other brothers or your sisters or something like that. So anyway,
we can do it all. I love it.
I like it. Let's get to the podium picks.
All right.
I fell through the podium last week when New England should have scored 40. And you know what? What a crap job by Trent Green, by the way. Boy, he sucks. Didn't even mention on the there was a touchdown play on the first down when Drake Maye got stepped on, and the freaking quarterback in the booth never said that the tight end was standing there picking lint out of his belly button, but Drake couldn't get it to him. They left that on the board. That'd have been the damn cover, and then they got skunked another time around the goal line. I got no analysis from Trent Green on that at all. Awful.
Oh, they should have won by 30. That was your silver medal play. New England -8.5 did drop down to 6.5 when there were thoughts that Burrow would play.
Yeah, I know.
You hit your Gresh has been on fire. So through 12 weeks, you are 12-6. And what I'll say quickly for those that haven't tuned in before, our podium picks, we each have a gold medal play, a silver medal play, and a bronze medal play. Gold medal play is worth 3 points. Silver medal play is worth 2. Bronze worth 1. Pushes, you get half the points. And so Gresh is 12-6 through 12 weeks and has 25 points. I am 7-9-2 through 12 weeks with 15 points. So I'm 15 points behind. Recapping last week real quick. You did hit Houston +5.5 on Thursday night. You get a point there. Did lose New England as your silver medal play -8.5. Detroit -10.5 versus the Giants as well. Fluky game there. I was on Detroit. In my sportsbook account, that didn't come through. I went 1-0-2 last week. Gresh push on Kansas City -3, which was the bronze medal play. I hit San Francisco silver medal play -6.5. And the gold medal play, Chicago -3, that was a push as well. So made up a little bit of ground, but still 10 points behind.
Yeah, but you were undefeated last week, though.
Yeah, one way to look at it, but it is interesting with a lot of these games because I don't know how you bet the NFL, right? I love point spreads and I love picking games against the spread, but I don't like gambling that way. If you think I'm betting 10 straight wagers on or even 3 or 4 straight wagers on NFL games against the spread, not necessarily, right? I like a lot of 2-team parlays here and there. So anyway, you can be sure I wasn't in the sports book on Kansas City -3 or Chicago -3. You know what I mean? Because I don't love those numbers. Anyway, Gresh, you still are in the lead, so your bronze medal selection. If you have no thoughts on the front.
No. I don't love this pick, but I keep coming back to who's gonna play up against a bad team. And I think that's the Atlanta Falcons. The Jets are not good. The Falcons aren't great, but the Falcons feel like the kind of team of, oh, yeah, we can beat these guys. We'll play better than this group and then go out and actually do it, right? Like this Falcons team has been all over the place. It's under 3. I do like that. So I'm going to go with the Falcons against a Jets team that, their coach is bickering with the media. They don't know who the starting quarterback's going to be. They traded, and I know they had a very representative performance against Baltimore, did the Giants, but I just feel like this is one where the Falcons are going to be like, look at all this offensive talent, spread it out and throw it all over the place.
Yeah, it's interesting. When we pick 3 games against the spread, believe it or not, there are several weeks where I really don't love 3 games, right? So you said off the bat, right, this is your third best, but
it's hard to trust Atlanta. That's what it is.
Right. And that I think says to me that it is a little bit of a tough board, right? Like I didn't have 5 or 6 games that I love this week, you can be sure. So that game to me didn't make it into my 3. Very tough for me to handicap a game like that with a team like the Jets, but I would probably lean the same side you're on. My bronze medal selection, Thanksgiving Day, Cowboys +3.5 versus the Chiefs. I think the fucking Cowboys win the game. How about them Cowboys? I'm telling you, I'm drinking it all.
Wow. I thought you were going other way hard.
So we talked last week, or I talked already about that gold medal, how I had the Eagles and I flopped on the Cowboys. I got a ticket right here, an 18 parlay with Cowboys money line from last week. So I feel like I'm playing with house money. Dak Prescott, I know it's not a division opponent, but he won his 19th straight home game against a division opponent. Again, when he faced the Eagles last week. Like, that's miraculous. That's a real dominant statistic. And gosh, I mean, CeeDee Lamb, the second best receiver on that team. I just believe in them. Quinnen Williams and that defense getting some more pieces and getting healthy. I just think, the Chiefs are 6-5. You brought up earlier, they could easily be 5-6 had the Colts not relinquish that lead. The only reason for me that this is the bronze medal game is because I think Kansas City is still desperate. I still believe in them sort of in all 3 phases. I love the coaching advantage for Kansas City, Andy Reid against Brian Schottenheimer. And the Thursday component is a wild card. But for me, I just like the home team. I think it's a pick'em game. I think both teams are not perfect. So give me Big D. I think I'll be playing them on the money line. I saw it at 3 and 3.5, but I'm going to go 3.5.
Wow. If I'm being honest with you, I'm very much on the other side of that. I think Kansas City got a gift of life. And, Dallas, again, if Dallas wins that game, it's in the high 30s to low 40s, in my opinion.
And
but good luck to you.
Though.
I do like the over. I gotta say, you surprised me. You really did.
I'll say, Gresh, it's good to know what your feel, right? Like your first bronze medal selection. I really don't have a feel on that game, but you definitely have a feel on the opposite side of this one, which is good. And to your point about Atlanta as your bronze medal, you're like, you don't think I have some pause going against Mahomes? You can be sure, but I don't love the board, and I like the hook here. So that's my bronze.
No, that's the hook. The hook. Yeah, I'm with you definitely on the hook. A part of my decision making was that it was Atlanta under 3, and I could lock that in. I know I'm going back to the well once again with Houston +4.5, but I lost all respect for Indianapolis last week. You are a paper tiger. You had the chance to get rid of Kansas City. You let them back in, and you lose the game. Damn it. Just when you think you want to try to believe in Indy, they show you that they're just not ready for prime time. Houston's on a heater. The defense is really good. This is one of those, hey, I believe Houston's defense will keep it close. So I'm going to go with the Texans over Indy, who I'm out on hard.
Right there with you. My silver medal selection is the same. Texans plus 4.5 at the Colts. I brought up on a past show, Chris Sims talked about the Houston defense being able to win games on their own. I mean, did you see Josh Allen didn't have a chance? Like they're that good on that front. And I just think the division leading Colts are a team that can be hung around with 4.5 points. I think CJ Stroud's probably going to come back and play. That helps. Little extra time off that Thursday night win. I also think the Chiefs laid out a great blueprint, really neutralizing Jonathan Taylor in a way that no one had this season. Indy gained only 255 yards total. And I think Indy's going against a better defense in Houston this week. Wouldn't surprise me if Houston wins outright. Therefore, I will take the 4.5 as well for my silver medal selection.
Yeah, and I think the steam has been taken out of the Colts now that they've played a big boy. Gold medal, I know, again, it feels like I'm going back to the well. Part of this is they looked really good last night, I thought, and part of this is fade the Browns. Did you see the idiot Shedeur Sanders after the game? And his whole is only a week, man. Imagine what it's like. It's like, okay, people wondered what would have turned teams off to Shedeur. It's just the attitude like that. Again, I hate to say this, but a lot of times your quarterback has to act more like a CEO than one of the boys, if you know what I mean. And maybe Shedeur will learn that. People in Cleveland I got some good sports talk buddies in Cleveland who, I mean, they're just putting peanut butter all over themselves. They're thrilled with, Shedeur in Cleveland. Here's a little bit of a wake-up call. I don't like Robert Saleh as a head coach. I love him as a defensive coordinator. And the 49ers, the 49ers, they're mobile, agile, and hostile. And I think that hostility at Cleveland is going to be a real – Shedeur Sanders will rush for more yards backwards than he will forwards against the 49ers defense.
Great job. Great pick. I regret not putting it in. Given how hot you are, I'll probably play that when we hang up, if you will. Cleveland obviously can do some things on defense too. San Francisco, though, Brock Purdy in the first half of that game, it was just an absolute nightmare. We did a little watch along for this other show I do, and Tony Farmer, my co-host, is a 49ers fan. And even after the first interception, I brought up that game from Christmas Day a couple years ago where Brock had 4 interceptions against the Ravens and the MVP changed hands from Purdy to Lamar Jackson that day. But I love San Francisco in this spot. Purdy bouncing back from that shaky first half last night. I think it's a great spot. I absolutely love that selection. I'm almost surprised it's not one of mine. But my gold medal selection is the Giants plus 7.5 at the New England Patriots all the way on Monday night. Jameis Winston, it's Thanksgiving time. Why is everyone thankful? I'm thankful for Jameis fucking Winston and his energy. Jameis Winston betters my life as just a human being in the world. Like, you see him last week making plays all over the place. They almost beat the Detroit Lions. I think this offensive line for New England is gonna be in trouble. I haven't looked at the weather report. Maybe there'll be some weather, but I think Jameis Winston very well could throw this game away and give the Patriots a cover, or perhaps take the Giants all the way to a win. But I'll take the 7.5 points. I like the line there, right? I understand the Giants are the worst rushing defense in football, so maybe Josh McDaniels can exploit that. But I just think this Patriots team that had a big margin for error early on, as we said, they don't really have to play great to win. I think that margin for error is shrinking quite a bit. And I think this Giants team, with Jameis Winston sort of leading by charisma, if you will, it makes them want to play better. And I think I think they fired their defensive coordinator, so maybe that's a good or bad thing. I don't really know. But I'll take the 7.5 points. If the Patriots want to go ahead and blow out this Giants team, then maybe they really are going to be in the conversation at the end of the season in the AFC. But I'll take the 7.5 here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing to worry about really is that Giants defensive line, especially getting after the left side. First down now becomes critical for New England. People never talk about how if you want to win on third down, you got to win on first down. So get into 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, not 3rd and 12. If New England can do that, here's the thing about the Giants. And Jay, I saw a tweet on this. I think 5 times this year, they've had like a lead in the second half or a lead in the fourth quarter, and then they've turned around and blown it. So that's why they've gotten rid of all these coaches. I think they're going to survive this week, then get to the bye and see how quickly you could get those linemen back. This is a survive and advance week. And I'll tell you what, man, you mentioned you like the line. That hook That can end up being the real decider at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if you take a look at our picks, we definitely have some consistent sort of trends and leans. There are definitely, I think, some teams that we like. I think you and I both have been consistent in fading certain teams this year. We've picked on the Jets and Cleveland a lot. And I'm glad you feel the same way about Indianapolis that I do, right? They're 8-3, nice year. Everybody was talking about them. Then they go play a real big boy on the road where they have them down and they can't finish them. See you later. You're just not ready for prime time yet.
And that line surprises me a bit. If CJ Stroud is announced as the starter, I would bet a lot of money that goes to 4 or 3.5. That line surprises me given the prowess of that Houston defense. But I want to talk about Thanksgiving because I'm a fat kid at heart. So I know we're going to do the perfect plate.
Yes.
But Cody did ask us to eliminate one food and then to say what our favorite food is. So let's do that quickly. Then we'll do the perfect plate. So get
green bean casserole the hell out of here. Rubbish.
Yeah.
Absolute rubbish.
I feel like maybe we did. My notes say eliminate green bean casserole. For what? What do we have it for? So we're on the same page there. Your favorite Thanksgiving food.
Ooh.
You got to pick one and then we'll do the plate. Let me start. You need to think about it? Go ahead.
No. Well, because I'm torn between corn or mashed potatoes, but I guess I'll say both because here's what I do. I go clump of mashed potatoes and then whatever I'm spooning it with, I press down right in the center, and that's where the giant scoop of corn goes on top of the mashed potatoes so you can mix the corn and the mash together. How's that?
I love it. And if you put a little meat in there, you got a little shepherd's pie going on. I like it. So you obviously know the difference between stuffing and dressing, Gresh, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So we won't talk about that, but I'll just say my wife's mom makes this dressing, this cornbread dressing with chicken. And what's interesting is we've done at my house when I host Thanksgiving and we cook, we do chicken instead of turkey. We make a lot of whole chickens and we flavor them in different ways because turkey, I don't always fuck with turkey, right? I like chicken more. So literally when you come to my house for Thanksgiving, we sometimes will do a chicken instead and all the fixins, but with some chicken, believe it or not. I know we throw you off a little bit, but anyway, so she does this dressing with chicken and cornbread, which is bananas. But anyway, talk to me about your perfect plate. Yeah. I don't know about how I feel about the chicken on Thanksgiving now that I think about it as the bird. Go ahead.
Perfect plate has got 4 good sized slices of turkey breast with skin. Don't be giving me no bullshit turkey with no skin on there. When I cook my turkey, I take a cheesecloth and soak it in butter and then lay the cheesecloth over top the turkey, right? And then you just bake it. You don't have to baste it or nothing. And then when you peel it off, your turkey breast skin is not burned. Because if I get turkey breast with no skin on it, I want it. So 4 slices of turkey breast with the skin.
Yeah.
I need the mashed potato with the corn boat going. It's stuffing from inside the bird, not dressing, with all due respect to all those who love it.
Yep.
I want bird stuffing, and the gravy only goes over the stuffing and the turkey. No gravy is to touch the potatoes and corn.
Wow. No cranberry sauce, right?
Nope. No cranberry sauce, no green bean casserole, no ham, right? I got a ham request this year, so I'm just throwing a small one in the oven. It's nice and easy.
Gotcha.
None of that.
So
I know people some dig lasagna. My Italian friends, they go turkey and lasagna for Thanksgiving. That feels a little weird.
No, thank you. So you go white meat, not dark meat.
Yeah. Oh, I when I go for seconds, I'll take whatever's there. I'm not like I'm not so pro one that I'm anti the other.
Yeah, so I talk about dressing, but I'm stuffing as well. Whatever, I don't mind it. That's either way.
Right,
so
it could kill me. It gets plenty hot. I'll be fine.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going dark meat turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. My mom makes a banging squash souffle, believe it or not, that I dabble with, right? But so my brother John, though, when you talk about this perfect plate, what I want you to know what John does. So he'll go turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce, gravy, That's it. And mash it all together and eat it. Turkey
Oh,
stuffing, cranberry sauce, gravy. I don't think he goes mashed potatoes, but for me, like I like a little gravy on the mashed potatoes. You want no gravy touching them.
no, I want my corn mixed in with my mashed. Here's my theory on mashed potatoes. If they're really good, you don't need gravy.
Yep, I agree.
And that's where I land. Like I work hard to make my mashed potatoes so amazing that I've learned as a cook to deal with the okay, people might put gravy on it because it's their preference. But really the goal is to make mashed potatoes that no one I know I mix corn in there, but again, I make it so that hopefully someone takes a bite and goes, "Well, I don't need anything to this."
Yeah. Oh, the little garlic in there. Forget about it. So I know we're a little, Cody's talking about sweet potato. I don't need
Yeah,
sweet
I'm with
potato.
you. Sweet, I don't care.
So
Sweet
before we get
potato.
out of here, you know, what I'll tell you is if you were to watch me on Thanksgiving, you would be like, Jay, you can really put it down. Like,
Oh,
I'm
I love it.
impressed with how much you can eat. Like, I think you would be happy to have me as a guest. Like, I can put some food back. But
I
what I
love it.
want to ask you, right? You're not the smallest dude, right? 6'4", 6'5", whatever. So, like, I mean, are you putting, would I be like, oh, I'm surprised Gresh doesn't eat that much? Or are you putting it back?
No,
Turkey Day?
you would probably be more surprised at the amount of sweets that I would eat on Thanksgiving because the other thing that is a part of our family is the Oreo cookie pie.
Oh my God.
So here's what you do. All you do is you go to the store and you get like your Oreo cookie pie shell, and then you got to get good ice cream, right? Like I will go to a place where there's a local
Brigham's? Is Brigham
no,
still in business?
Warwick ice cream is what I try to get.
All right.
And you get their cookies and cream, which is made with real Oreos. You let that soften, and then you take all that ice cream and you pop it in the pie shell. You take some chocolate syrup and you put it on that, and then you got to put the whipped cream on it. Then you put the lid on, slide it in the freezer for a day, and then that way, come Thanksgiving, that thing is all nice and frozen up. You can have nice like slices of Oreo cookie pie. And my nephew Hudson and I ate one, me and him last year. Like I ate half of it and he picked away at the other half. I literally, Jay, cut the pie in half and I lifted half of it out and put it on a plate for me. And then everybody else could have the rest.
I would love to watch it. So as your brother has like Snickers in his pouch, are you dabbling with the Snickers as you're hitting some golf balls before dinner?
No, I'm normally like they go outside to kind of kill time. I'm normally inside. That's like say an hour before we're hitting the table. So like the ham would just be going in. I'd just be finishing the potatoes. Like I have that whole cook clock in my head.
And are you loud with everybody? Are you like, and are they saying yes, chef to you?
No, I want everybody away from me. Yeah, I love them and their family and stuff, but nope, get away. Uncle Arnie's in the kitchen. There's the gate. You can yell over the gate if you have a question, but otherwise.
Oh, so you're really dominant. So you don't have any help in the kitchen cooking?
No, I do. No, I do it all by myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
All of it. If I missed that detail earlier, forgive me.
Yeah,
All of it by yourself. Wow.
Yeah. You learn like little tricks how to get ahead of like as soon as I get there, the rolls, I will take the rolls out and put a thing of foil over them. So I know that when I slide them into the oven with 20 minutes to go before dinner, I don't have to worry about making sure that they're going to get burned or anything like that. They're not going to steam either, but they'll go in there because I want the rolls like nice and crunchy, but I don't want them like burned on the top.
I get it. I forgot we were doing a podcast. So I know you got other obligations today, but I'm excited for Thanksgiving. I can't fucking wait. Like
no, I am too. And I know you're all jacked up for that, the Dallas, Kansas City game right there in the middle. I've also kind of shifted a little bit, Jay. I'm going to actually show that I have something archaic in my, it's a newspaper. It's where they cover the high school stuff. So I'm
happy.
in.
Show me the front of it, please.
This is Globe Sport. Let me see. Globe Sports from Sunday. Well, because they have the high school breakdowns. I have the high school state championship games next Friday and Saturday for Craft Productions. How about this, Jay? MIAA. They did an agreement with the Crafts years ago to play all of the Super Bowls there. There's 2 on Thursday that aren't on TV. There's 2 on Friday that are, and then there's 4 on Saturday on TV next weekend. So all these kids, right? Think of 18-year-old Jason Anik as a senior running out on the field at Gillette Stadium to play your last high school football game. Like, it's pretty cool, and calling it is pretty cool. Let me tell you, some of the harshest hell I've caught from people watching a broadcast are family members of the high school games. Oh my God. Say a name wrong, or you get a stat wrong. You got people tweeting. Here's what it is. It's the people who follow the team all year long and know it inside and out, and they expect you to. Yep. I'm getting information from newspapers, right? Yeah. Like, normally you call these coaches just really, like, say there's I'm going to use a reference of a guy that I played with in high school football. His name was like Jason Johnson or something like that, right? Everybody called him Junebug. So, but that's what I get. It'll be like, hey, tell me a little bit about this guy. Oh, well, we call him Junebug. Well, what's his Christian name? How do I say that, please? Right. Can you help it? Yeah, they'll be like, I don't know, let's call him Junebug. And I'm like, well, I can't call him Junebug. Fucking help me out. Like, can you tell me, give me the kid and tell me how to pronounce his name? Because that's the thing. Like, and if you have like the French names, like there's Thibault. Yeah. Is that Thibault
all day?
Or Thibodeau or Thibault, right? So you try to do the best you can. And then normally it's like, somebody texts, it's like one of the high school kids that are texting you and being like, it's pronounced this way, asshole. And it's like, well, if you only knew how little information we get on all of this, you would understand why I'm screwing it up. So,
hey, the higher level you get to, more chances of people pronouncing your name right,
Well, I'm not saying, Zulan Zambrakhanenov or whatever the hell, like you and your brother have to every once in a while, or, you'll get in the ring for dirty boxing, and the next thing you know, there's an Ulan Bekov, and you got to make sure you don't screw that up,
Right, yeah.
Like, it's just the stuff that I mess up. Anyway, you're right. I do got to go. For those of you who are watching live, you can catch me on the Infinity Sports Network 3 to 6 today. And then ESPN Radio tomorrow night, 10 p to 1 a.m. And then off on Thursday. And then doubleheader on Friday. I'm in for Stephen A. Smith on Friday on Sirius. And then doing 6 to 10 on Infinity Sports Network Friday night. And then doubleheader on Saturday with a little ESPN. And then Sunday night on Infinity. And then Monday night going to the Patriots game. Likely doing TV live after that.
Dude, that's amazing. And you are mixing in cooking a meal for a huge family in between. Good for you.
I went last night. Last night, my youngest and I went shopping for everything. The plan's already made. Everybody knows what's being made. Desserts are being handled by my niece and my sister-in-law. So I think I've got a halfway decent handle on everything.
I love it. You're the man. Well, happy Thanksgiving.
It's crazy. Bro. Well, hey, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours and everyone, including Brother Harpo. My best to him. Busted him out. It's the holiday. He gets to come out of the basement. Anyway, that is it for us. Great job by Cody Merrow on this, as usual. We will see you here, next Tuesday, right after a Patriots game. So Monday Night Football, Patriots, we got your breakdown next Tuesday here on Gas.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.